Pegwarmers. I'm Kevin.
I'm Penelope.
I'm Justin.
And we're here to talk about toys. We're at Farpoint Toys, in fact.
Look!
What is happening right now?
We are coming to you live from the Farpoint Museum inside
live?
Farpoint.
Not sure we're live.
Listen, we're live to us right now.
Oh yeah, we're living.
We're coming to you from the Farpoint Museum, which I think is really cool.
So this is one of the first episodes since the Pegwarmers hiatus. We are trying out a couple different things to try and streamline production. One of the things is taking advantage of the camera setup here at Farpoint to try and streamline editing, kind of speed up production a little bit. Plus, there's also a chance for me to pay these guys back. I did the driving and paid the tolls this time.
Kevin,
Yeah.
we're happy to have you. This is going to be really fun.
It's fun to be in.
It's cool for you to be sitting here in the museum. We're talking about toys, and we are absolutely surrounded by toys.
It's
to the point of distraction.
It's an amazing set. Yeah, I'm used to people telling me how distracting my house is, and I'm just used to it.
Sure.
But because the displays are similar toys, but just in a different setup, I keep looking at things going like, oh, they put that guy in that row or whatever.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah. I'm so used to it that whenever I look at these we're surrounded by collections right now.
Yeah.
I see the things that we're missing.
Yeah.
That I need to finish. I need that gun for,
or somebody dropped something.
Right. Oh, well, that's a constant.
The dreaded domino effect.
Absolutely.
Before we were filming, you had to center all the superpowers because they got knocked over.
It's true. It's nothing in the case. It's just a constant. But, it's a labor of love.
Yeah.
So we're excited to, be all together again. It's been a little while since we did an episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're doing a G.I. Joe one.
Shh. Well, yeah, we're listening to the people.
Wait,
I
what?
think.
You didn't tell me. No,
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
You held us back long enough. That's
floodgates
it.
are open.
From here on out, it's just Justin and Kevin talking G.I. Joe.
I'll just sit here and be cute.
Well, should we start with new to the collection?
Sure.
Yeah. So you may remember we were here earlier talking about big wheels and power wheels, and we talked specifically about a D&D one. And look what has materialized out of the ether. We spoke it into being.
So we originally did a Pegwarmers episode where we talked about big wheels.
Yes.
And during that episode, we were doing some research because we knew there were some rare, crazy big wheels.
Yeah.
But I don't think we actually knew that Dungeons and Dragons had a big wheel. Or at least I didn't. I speak for myself here. I wasn't aware that there was a Dungeons and Dragons themed big wheel until we were doing the research for that episode. Right. And then we saw, a picture of it, and we were like, oh my god.
It's so cool.
And then we went and found one.
It found us.
It
just
did.
kind of happened. We got a phone call like, hey, are you guys interested in this? It's sealed. Like, what? You don't see them open, let alone sealed.
Open it.
No.
Let's put it together.
Stop. It's small. The box is smaller than I expected, but it's much heavier than I expected. I am so stoked to have this. It even says Power Cycle in the Dungeons and Dragons font. It has Larry Elmore artwork on the seat. We talked about this during the Pegwarmers episode about big wheels.
Exciting 3D head.
What's
dragon head.
Yes, it is exciting.
The
It looks
tassels.
like it has drool. Oh, it's tassels. Me, so as a kid, big wheel.
Yeah.
The wheel seemed as big as this thing to me.
Yeah.
Right? It's kind of like as a kid you thought Optimus Prime was a gigantic toy, and it wasn't. When I saw this box, I was like, there's no way the wheel fits in that box. Because I expected the wheel, those bicycles that the 20s guys with the mustaches, hey, Charlie, let's go ride on the boardwalk. I expected the wheel to be like that.
Uh-huh.
Do you mean penny farthing bikes? The giant wheel?
Whatever you say, boss.
I think they're called penny farthing bikes.
Okay.
I think.
You learned it here.
I think.
So I was like, there's no way the wheel is a wheel in a separate box. But turns out, size is relative.
Yeah.
We were smaller children.
We were.
So the wheel's only, I guess, this big.
So
as compared
cool.
to as a giant penny farthing.
I think that's what they're called.
Well, we're going to check. The internet's going to check that.
I think that's what they're called.
All right.
Well, that's
It's
awesome.
so cool.
I'm excited that you guys have that in your Dungeons and Dragons collection.
Thank you. It's very cool.
It's
we need to
really
encapsulate it in some sort of plastic.
I don't know if anyone will grade it.
I don't know.
But I'd like to at least get it acrylic because the box is not in the best shape, and with my luck, it'll come popped open.
Definitely need to encase it in acrylic because it belongs in a museum.
It does.
Luckily, it's in one.
It is. It is.
It is. We're stoked to have it. It's really
we are
cool.
very excited.
Yeah.
It's an excellent piece to add.
Thank you.
So our main topic today is G.I. Joe Night Force.
Specifically, Night Force. In my opinion, the best versions of wide release of these characters. We can get into minutia like con stuff and collector club stuff.
Yeah, almost every single one of these repaints is an upgrade. There's
no doubt about it.
one or two that I would argue the original release was better, but almost all of these guys were enhanced by the muted color scheme.
Now these are just repaints of existing figures.
Yes.
Correct.
No remolds, no, like, they didn't swap chests or anything. They just took a dude and painted him black.
No, and they didn't, like, make, so Toys R Us exclusives, right? Which I guess Mission Brazil was probably successful because that was the original Toys R Us.
That was the first Toys R Us.
Right.
Okay.
The thing about the Mission Brazil is one box set, and there was a new character. Four of the ones were repaints of characters from that year, right? Wetsuit and dial tone, leather neck, and mainframe. Well, Claymore,
the new guy,
reused pieces from everyone, but a new character.
They
copied
Frankenstein.
it together.
Yes,
All right,
he might have been the first.
Well, no, Duke reused parts.
No, not reused. Complete.
100% reused.
100%
yes.
Frankenstein.
Almost,
even the head.
Yeah.
Whose head did he have?
Footloose.
Yeah. Just
They
different
give him
color
different
mustache.
color hair?
Yeah. Dark hair and black.
Right.
There were actually 3 G.I. Joes that used that head, and I used to pretend they were cousins.
One's a vehicle driver,
Rumbler
right?
from the RC
Rumbler,
Park.
that's right. Yeah.
Is one a blonde, one a brunette, and one like
They're
a
all
redhead?
No,
kind of
Rumbler's
brown.
very
They're
close.
very similar.
At least
that's odd.
Claymore has a it's darker.
Yeah. But they're all sort of like
I
brown.
mean, all these guys look the same anyway. It's just like white dudes with mustaches, right?
Pretty much.
I love the
I
color
wish
schemes.
the only thing I wish about Night Force is they did something like that where there was like the one Night Force guy where that was his own thing,
Like a leader
Night Force
or something.
leader.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that would have been good.
Yeah. Shadowhawk.
Now you're just making stuff up.
Yeah. But
So 1988 featured a bunch of guys from the 87 line. So it was like they were all figures released the previous year, got repainted. So you had your first set of 2-packs. It was 3 sets, so 6 total figures. And then it was successful enough the next year to do it again.
very cool that they
Yes.
were in 2-packs, right?
Very unique, too.
The only other 2-packs before that was Tomax and Zaymot.
Yeah.
Never released as single cards, which they did later on with Battle Force 2000. They were on single cards and double cards.
Was Battle Force 2087 or 88? Was it the same time?
Oh my
or the
god,
year
it was the
before?
same. It was 87.
So it was
It was before.
That was the test for the multi-packs. They had done 3-packs too in 87.
Wow, this wasn't the first multi-pack.
When
You're
was
right.
the Cobra Law pack? I know there's.
87.
Well, that's a 3-pack,
Yeah.
and that was the Slaughter's Renegades was the same thing, a 3-pack.
Yeah, so they experimented with kind of the
Wow,
multi-packs
yeah, you're right.
in 87 and then did a customized set for Toys R Us in 88.
Now, were there any accessories that these guys came with, like Tomax and Zaymot, for example? They have that grappling hook, and you didn't really know who it went with.
Nothing
No.
shared.
Shared
They
stuff.
all came with their original accessories in new colors or sometimes the same colors as the original.
Even the same accessories?
Yep.
Exact same.
They're exactly repainted
Oh, listen.
100%.
It was a total money-making thing,
Yeah.
right?
It just
They didn't
seems
have to
a
make
little
any new
cheap.
molds.
Just fire up the molds.
Yep,
Yeah.
and new plastic, and probably cheaper, darker plastic, to be honest with you.
And they use pretty much the same paint masks. Like if a guy has the little bullets painted, well, he hasn't painted again this time. They dropped a few paint apps.
Outback still says survival.
Right.
It's just not a white T-shirt.
I was gonna say, is it white?
It's almost negative. It's a green T-shirt with black instead of a white T-shirt with black.
Okay.
And they dropped all the camo, so that cut down a bunch of paint apps, making them cheaper to produce.
Yeah.
Nobody has camo.
All right.
It's funny, cheaper to produce. I always appreciated the simpler Joes anyway, right? Then this was released. I didn't have one of these figures as a kid.
I had none of them. I never even saw them because we rarely went to Toys R Us.
I would have.
I had friends that had them, and
Dude.
I was like, where did you get these?
I would have went crazy.
So these were only available in Toys R Us stores, not
Correct.
mail
I believe
away,
so,
nothing like
yeah.
that.
just in the stores.
So, I don't ever remember seeing them, and they must have sold fast, or I don't know how many the numbers they.
Limited release.
They also did vehicles. I don't remember seeing them, or maybe I did, and I was like, well, I already have a whale. I don't need to spend the money
if you
on a
already
whale.
have an Outback,
And I'm
why
not
do you need
sure
more?
if they were like winter releases at the holiday season or off season. If they were summer releases for birthdays.
We
or
need to
something.
find
I
that
don't
out. So
actually-
please tell us in the comments if you know anything. Call Kirk.
That kind of stuff is tough to track down. When did these things actually hit retail
Yeah.
within a year?
Because we always just judge. We always talk about GI Joes by year,
Right.
but not actually when during the
When it
year was it
came out.
released.
It's the same thing with My Little Pony. All that Hasbro stuff, it's the same. It's just the year was 87, 88. It wasn't
But that's not when they went to market, though.
Yeah.
Sometimes they went to market different seasons.
Yeah.
It's funny. We were talking about the different color weapons. Like, Outback's gun is exactly the same. You know, Falcon's gun and knife are exactly the same. They're all black.
Yep.
Spearhead and Max, poor Max. He was originally an orange Bobcat.
He got dropped in a vat of dye.
How do you explain that? That poor Bobcat. You think he enjoyed getting...
Is it still...
It's Max.
So...
Maybe it's new Max.
Yeah. Maybe old Max.
It's definitely an upgrade. Listen, they could have done anything to Spearhead and he would have been an upgrade. That is by far maybe the best upgrade of them all.
Possibly.
Because his camouflage is this terrible tan and orange. Just like, where is he camouflaged for?
The desert?
I guess.
I think that's what they were going for, but just opted for a shade that popped, but it's just is kind of goofy. I still think it's weird he has teal boots.
Yeah.
It's like the one shade that's only on him. Nobody else really has that color exactly.
No, you're right.
And it's just a little bit odd. I think if those boots were black or those boots were gray, he'd be like
a home run. Yeah. You want to talk about home run? We can go down the figures.
Yeah, might as well.
Shockwave is not. Well, we're going backwards. I think the release order. No, that's alphabetical. I'm not sure what the release order was.
Well, 88 is going to be some of the guys. I think you have all the guys from 88 on that side, and the 89 guys are over here.
All right.
So you want to start with Crazy Legs?
Yeah, let's start with Crazy Legs. Same gun and
parachute pack.
Yeah, but parachute pack's not tan.
Right.
So we could say this. All the weapons are exactly the same. Nobody came with an extra weapon. Nobody came with non-extra weapons. These are exactly the same figures you got.
Correct.
But his coloring, the gun and the hilt, are still exactly the same.
Look the same.
His backpack is black now instead of tan.
Huge upgrade though. Bright red figure originally.
Awesome.
Now he's in black and green.
Always a cool figure. I love the padding on his.
The textures.
The fact that they come with the exact same weapons, that bugs me. They could have switched it up a little bit. Like, if they're gonna leave them exactly the same, you think that they could have just switched it up a little.
I can't argue, but again, it's such a money saving thing to reuse the molds of figures, and all they have to do is change the color. It's just this is completely the finance department deciding, okay, if Toys R Us wants something special.
He still has a little bit of red on him right here.
He does have a little bit of red on him.
Then Falcon, same shotgun and the knife, but the backpack and
the antenna are
repaints.
So, I think Falcon is one of the figures that didn't benefit from the repaint. I think his camo is so good.
I agree.
That the Night Force one is just a little bland.
I agree. His green camo is awesome. It's
fantastic.
Yep. Outback was really cool with a white T-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
He stood out a lot. I like the dull green colors and stuff, but I think he had more personality with the white T-shirt.
Yeah, I could see that. I think this looks a little bit more like the T-shirt that guys in the army wear under their BDUs.
Sure.
Is sort of that greenish tan shirt. So
you're not
it's a little bit more
t-shirt.
Traditional.
Yeah, not like a tidy whitey shirt he was wearing. Right. Psych Out, always a weird figure anyway.
Very weird figure.
That little antenna sticking up off the back of his head.
Definitely an upgrade. Dude, it's like a brainwave.
I don't...
Yeah. He's the psychological warfare guy. It's very, very out there. Like, whoever came up with that idea of having kids play with a guy who can, like, transmit brainwave frequency. I mean, it's very Cobra.
It's very Dr. Mindbender.
Yes.
Yep.
Why is he in G.I. Joe?
I guess to defend against Dr. Mindbender.
Okay. All right, fair.
And so he got his hair dyed. It didn't happen a lot.
You're right.
But sometimes with the repaints,
he had like orange hair, right?
He had like the bright yellow, like
yellow. That's right, yellow. He was blonde.
Yellow hair.
I guess he's in line with.
And his outfit was like his outfit was freaking like bright green.
Yeah.
So totally an upgrade.
Yeah, he's a much better.
Screw blondes. There's not one blonde on the Night Force team. Like they had to get rid of that.
Yeah, it's too bright.
Sneak Peek came with Footloose's gun. Mm-hmm. That's like a reused gun that they gave him for some reason.
Oh, they didn't switch his gun for this.
No,
both
versions came with that gun.
You got me excited for a second. I thought you were going to say they switched it up.
He's a microphone figure.
Yeah.
And we all know microphone figures always lose microphones.
Yeah.
It may be one of those things where to get him to fit in the tooling budget, it made sense to have him recycle someone's gun.
Right, because probably they put so much tooling in that.
He's got that big binocular thing,
is,
or periscope.
Is that it's a periscope?
It is a giant periscope.
It is huge.
It's
as tall as he is.
It's very big.
Yeah.
I don't know how he carries that around.
Is that Tunnel Rat next?
It
Alright.
is.
All right, I can tell from behind.
Again?
That on.
The original version's awesome.
The original one is really good. And, you know, I don't really like taking apart a Night Force guy to make a custom. You want to make him look really cool? Put the black pants from the original release on the black torso from this one, and he looks stellar. But he was already a very dark figure. He had a dark green shirt and black pants.
So this is a guy. Tunnel Rat is a Vietnam era
I know.
term.
Yeah.
Little dude.
Yeah.
They would give that guy a pistol and a heckler, like a flashlight, and he would go crawl into a hole and go find the bad guys.
Yeah.
Look at the size of his backpack and his rifle.
That looks like it might be a little too big for him.
His gun's as tall as he is.
His gun's gigantic. I don't know.
The backpack is
molded
big.
after Larry Hama.
No, I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Famously.
Larry says that all the time.
Well, it's true.
Yeah. Who's the redhead?
That's Charbroil.
Okay.
Because every Night Force, you said this earlier.
How do you put a flamethrower trooper on Night Force?
When things get real, the night gets lit up, man.
This is how he messes with the night vision goggle. He just starts spewing flames everywhere.
If I'm a Cobra, that's the last guy I want to see.
That's
true. Because he's going to set you on fire, right? Like, these guys are going to shoot you, and you're going to die or be hurt. Flamethrower guys always, like, always put...
I like his helmet.
There's no worse way to die than having him come up and just set your bunker on fire.
He doesn't necessarily scream Night Force in his colors, but I think that blue armor on the gray jumpsuit is very striking. I think almost a better color scheme than his orange and brown original release.
I love his helmet. I didn't put it on his head because sometimes it rubs his
I noticed he has a...
This is the Farpoint Museum collection. I'm trying to keep it nice.
It has a lenticular sticker on the back.
Is it lenticular?
Yes.
I never realized that.
Yep.
It looks like a few of them have that. Why wouldn't a Night Force figure... what's the lenticular...
Penelope was 1988, and lenticular was a thing.
They just wanted everybody to have
the original version of him had the lenticular
Yeah.
thing, and it was the bats proved that was a cool feature.
Yeah.
Probably relatively inexpensive to produce.
Probably.
But kind of giving it more play value.
So over time, the bat stickers specifically get dry and fall off the chest. So I've seen people do repro just a sticker.
Yeah.
It loses so much by not having the depth of the lenticular
it gives you
sticker.
that effect.
So that when whoever designed the bat, Ron, whoever, and they said, well, let's put a sticker. Whoever thought of that is a genius because it just made that figure pop.
Yes.
I don't think it adds much to any of these guys.
Not so much.
I don't even look at it.
Yeah, these two guys have it on the backpack, and then there's one in the front on his weapon or.
What is that? Lightfoot.
Lightfoot.
Lightfoot,
right.
And he has two lenticular stickers because his little robot has one.
So Lightfoot, again, very weird character. A neat idea, having this little bomb disposal drone or whatever to find landmines.
I like the idea.
But
what is this thing? Is it like a magnet?
It's the
Does it pick up the
controller
mine?
for the thing, I think.
Or
it's for picking up the mines, maybe.
All right, then what's the bullet belt he comes with?
That's the hose to connect the backpack to it.
I'm learning.
The power supply? I don't really know.
All right, definitely an upgrade from the regular version.
Sure.
He's Crayola.
Bright yellow with some green. Yeah.
Blue helmet. Bright green accessories.
Yeah.
Yellow with some green. He is totally Crayola.
And the robot is as bright a orange as you can get.
Yep. He's got every
color.
Solid color.
The little robot in black is very...
Yeah, he's a total upgrade.
Yeah,
I loved that robot as a kid, though. Talk about a fun little accessory. It's Star Wars. You have a
he's got a droid.
team as a droid. It's cool.
I never thought of it that way.
Cool.
See, it was 88 and I was older already.
Right.
And
I was in first grade.
I was why do I
amazing.
have this Crayola character?
He looks much better in a muted tone.
All right. The next guy, I don't believe is an upgrade.
Okay.
I like Muskrat's original. It's maybe because it's blue.
Yeah.
But he was green already.
And a dark green to start with.
Yeah.
I don't think Muskrat is a bad figure in any way, but it is not as amazing or specifically upgraded.
He comes with a boogie board.
Of course he does. He has a sleeveless shirt.
So something is definitely upgraded. It's his machete in the original version.
Was baby blue.
And sometimes, later on, once you hit the 90s, the guns and accessories and weapons are all colored crazy colors.
Every toy line did that.
But early,
a lot of them.
They were black or silver, and they kind of had a realism to them.
Yeah.
And that's one of the weapons I was like, why is his machete completely baby blue?
And it was also odd because, they specifically molded in a different color. That had to cost extra money. It wasn't like they poured some plastic into the machete and the shotgun at the same time.
Right.
Maybe
Yeah,
they
the
had
shotgun was
extra
black.
They
baby blue
chose-
plastic from something.
Yeah, maybe they molded it. Was anything else that color? Maybe they molded it with other things.
They had so much blue left over from
The
Cobra
accessory
Commanders,
pack
who knows? Yeah,
From the
maybe.
accessory pack Crimson Guard guns?
Maybe.
Because they were
They were that
blue.
weird blue.
A
Yeah.
lot of toy lines, like I keep going back to My Little Pony because it's a good analogy.
Sure.
It's your frame of
And it's-
reference.
and it's
Same
Hasbro.
company.
It Hasbro. I don't know. They're saving money, whatever. But they started out with like just a couple colors, and then more colors, and then by the '90s, everything's neon and color changing and glow in the dark.
What else do they do?
It just feels like a very similar.
So,
vibe.
well, speaking of glow in the dark, and this episode we're focusing on the figures, and sometime we'll talk about the Night Force vehicles.
I'll whip them out.
But
at some
the
point.
vehicles had glow in the dark stickers on them and bright orange weapons. I think the only bad decision in Night Force
It's a bright orange weapon.
is a bright orange weapon, but it does look cool.
It's striking.
It's
It's
striking.
very
but
eye catching.
if they're trying to
but
hide
odd.
it in the night, it's not.
We'll touch on the,
Yes.
the vehicles. And you said this earlier.
Right.
They chose for Night Force some of the most iconic, the best of the best G.I. Joe vehicles, right?
Yes.
And I can't help but agree with that, man. Sky Striker, Whale, Moray,
Yeah.
right? Just some of the.
We'll-
Boy, they really got some. I was just thinking about the Shark. They got some mold out of that because of the
Yeah.
Skyforce vehicle as
Yep.
well.
It's been 3 different things.
And then weird, like the
Four.
maggot.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Yeah, the maggot was. So, but the maggot was like a current thing. That like made sense. We know where that mold is. That was like last year's toy.
yeah,
But yeah, the old ones, it's amazing they pulled those molds
yeah.
out.
The
They
Whale
had
and the
them.
Sky Striker, they
Yeah.
dug, and the Moray, they dug deep
Yeah.
for those.
All right, who's our third from the end there?
Repeater.
I recognize the hat.
Repeater was one of those guys that they really thought was gonna be a face in the brand. If you look at all the ancillary merchandise
He's
from
all
his
over.
debut year, he's on the party invitations. He's on the
Yep.
shampoo box.
I can see the
He's
art
everything.
of him. I think
Yeah.
because Aliens was really popular, and he had like
Yeah.
the gun from
He's
that.
supposed to be the guy from Aliens, right?
Kind of. They're like Dodger as well. Like they were
Yeah.
taking elements.
That's not the gun, is it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the gun
it's
attached to his
the
waist.
Steadicam.
But
gun.
if you think about the art, you're right.
But
Coloring books.
there was no cartoon that year, so he didn't really get developed.
Yeah.
Larry used him a little bit in the comic, but
Yeah,
not
the
much. He
cartoon
kinda
is
had
what
a
gave them the
That
personality.
really is because they had a voice. You
Would
know?
Shipwreck have been Shipwreck? Would he be as popular as
Without
he is
the
now?
Jack Nicholson voice.
He is insanely popular now.
Yeah, because
And
he had the
it's
ridiculous voice.
Thanks to Neil Ross's impersonation of Jack
Yeah.
Nicholson.
Next is potentially my favorite G.I. Joe, or up there. He's in definitely top 3 for me. G.I. Joes.
Well, I know Lowlight's in your top 3. That's not
Yeah.
Lowlight.
Lowlight, Snake Eyes, and probably
Shockwave.
Shockwave.
Reusing a Transformer name.
I was gonna say they do done that a few times.
Good way to keep the copyrights fresh.
Well, they do that again with My Little Pony. Firefly.
Yep.
Was a My Little Pony.
So Shockwave was originally sort of a baby blue guy.
Again,
It
with the
worked
baby
because
blue?
he was SWAT, but black and gray, man, you can't
Oh
argue
my
with that.
god. So I loved him as Blue. When
Yeah.
he first came out, I mean, so my stepfather was on the SWAT team in Atlantic City.
Okay.
So I thought, oh wow,
Yeah.
SWAT guy, super cool.
Uh-huh.
He comes with an awesome knife.
Yeah, it's like the Rambo knife with the serrated edge.
Totally.
Yeah, it's right there on his chest.
Yeah. No, it's on his back too. He's
Oh.
Like
that knife comes
removable.
out.
There's a little one like molded
Well,
over
he's
his chest
loaded
too.
for bear.
Yeah.
So he's got a what do they call it? Not
Balaclava.
a balaclava.
Yeah.
Kind of like Beachhead.
Beachhead.
I think the best guys had their faces covered because we could put ourselves on them.
It adds a level of anonymity and also like just a level of like that guy must be tough.
Yep.
Like
I didn't think he could get cooler until the Collectors Club got their hands on, and they did a SWAT concept.
Yeah.
And he wasn't blue, and he wasn't black and gray. He was like a dark green, and he was. That set is a perfect set.
yeah.
And they chose different weapons for him.
That's a modern set, right?
It was like 2008. It was
Yeah.
right before.
They switched from O-rings
Yeah,
to
they switched to O-rings.
modern construction
Yeah.
for crowd.
Might have been 07, 08, somewhere in there. Because 09 was the first modern era con set, I believe.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
08 or 09.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah, anyway, it was the Crimson.
I think it's interesting that they have a somewhat consistent color scheme, but not perfect. Like there's different shades of brown between the guys. There's different shades of green. It's just sort of an interesting thing they didn't like. Kind of just like Tiger Force. They had like a concept, but they didn't make it consistent.
So, I think personality was important to G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
To set each guy had to be kind of set apart, even though they were all on the same team.
Right.
I think they were going for that here as well. right? They have a resemblance. You could tell that they're together.
Mm-hmm.
These are what the good guys look like, but they're still like an idiosyncratic.
Yeah.
He's different than him. He's not the same guy.
Right.
Different enough where you need to buy them all.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Mom doesn't say, I think you have this pack already.
Yeah.
When you're begging for it.
God, I would kill for those 2 packs right now. So the last one is Spearhead and Max, and that's the only animal in it. I'm glad they didn't get Freedom. I don't think if they dyed Freedom as paint, he couldn't have flew with dyed wings.
He was cat color, right? It was just like a
He was
brownish
orange.
right?
Bright orange.
Bright orange.
Not even a brownish orange.
No.
Like crayon
He was a
orange.
bright
Like
orange.
the artwork on the package
Like
has
Ninja
Max
Turtles.
and the camo on Spearhead in tan.
Yeah.
But on the toy,
It was
it's orange.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now he's black for some reason.
Johnny Bobcat.
Gotta hide in the dark.
Well, so I can just imagine Spearhead sitting next to him with a brush. Like, sit down, be good, Max.
I'm gonna die.
And just painting him with this
So what kind
It's
of
just for
cat-
men.
oil paint. Oh, well, that's better. What
The
I
weird
was
stuff,
thinking.
you know?
Yeah, he's combing it in.
What kind of cat is he?
A bobcat.
A battle cat, like an attack cat.
Well, aren't bobcats kind of mean or something?
Well, can they be trained?
Obviously.
Apparently that
Is
one
he
was.
just like wild?
Listen, G.I. Joe trained everything. Polly saved the world.
They had parrots. They had eagles.
There's a dolphin.
There is a
Good
dolphin.
Eco Warriors.
Yes, there is a dolphin. Did for the Slaughter's Marauders?
They have 2 pets.
Yeah. And,
Junkyard and Freedom.
Now but they're the exact same, aren't they?
Yep.
All right, so they didn't bother painting.
Well, they dropped a paint app on Junkyard. He doesn't have the brown on his belly.
So he's just solid
black.
black. All right.
But Freedom has like the white head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they just decided to dye this guy black.
Yeah, it's the funniest part of this whole thing. I mean, Spearhead Max always kind of tickled me anyway.
If you guys buy these online, you do have to be really careful. There's a lot of like shysters out there that will spray paint a Max black because you can't tell from a photo.
Yeah, and also if you're a stickler,
Yes.
a lot of these weapons were remolded in black later on in the 90s where they came on the sprues, but you can feel.
Yeah.
Just like Star Wars.
Yeah, a lot of times. So it's the same mold, but the plastic is of a more rubbery feel.
The machete's one of those. Muskrat's machete.
Absolutely.
Was reused a lot in the 90s.
There's actually a difference in. So Charbroil comes with a hose
Right.
that attaches his backpack to his flamethrower because the flamethrower needs
Yeah,
fuel
it's gotta
to
have fuel.
set people on fire
Of
with.
course. At night.
The original version of him, the hose is like pliable, and you can kind of like push on it. It feels kind of soft. The Night Force version is very stiff, almost like I'm afraid to bend it to plug it into the hose in the backpack.
Yeah.
So it's less of like a.
Yeah,
It's less
but
of a
it's an
rubber
easily
and
lost
like a
piece,
pipe.
even with the regular version of him. So if you're going to go try and buy the Night Force version of him, a lot of people will replace it, and it still looks great.
Yeah.
But if you're like a real stickler, just like there's Star Wars collectors that, Stormtrooper Luke has a black Stormtrooper blaster, not a blue black.
Not the translucent.
So
not the green
hey,
black.
collectors are collectors,
Listen.
and if I want it right, you
If
want it
it's
right.
not what it came with, it's not what it came with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I don't, and this is I'm not sure. Spearhead and Max, his machete, when I was putting it in his hand, I was like, oh, that's kind of soft. I'm not. They did reuse that.
They did.
But I don't know if they
think
did a black version.
I'm not sure.
They did weird color versions.
Some of the
with
Street Fighter
Fighters.
guys had it, yeah.
Yeah.
So another odd thing about that Spearhead figure, the Fun School figures, right? They used that color scheme for the Fun School Spearhead.
This Night Force colors?
Night Force color scheme. It's clearly cheaper plastic.
Yeah.
Bad paint job. Comes with a really, really bright orange mask. But he has the teal boots.
Even brighter.
Even brighter. But he has the teal boots and the brown and gray shirt.
Wow.
It's like I think it's the only Night Force like scheme that made it into that line.
No lady characters in this.
No.
That's
No,
unfortunate. I would have liked to have seen a Night Force Lady J.
I don't want
Out of this range, Jinx I think would have been the only female figure released in this era to have the fresh mold.
So they didn't go back deep.
Oh, so it's just the last year.
It's the previous year's
Yes,
figures.
it's all it
sense.
was. So they didn't
Alright.
they didn't dig
Jinx
into.
would have been cool in the black outfit.
Listen, if I was making a dream Night Force team,
Yeah.
first of all, Snake Eyes. Are you kidding me?
I mean, he's
Yeah.
already just naturally.
How
Right.
did they not put Lowlight in there? He was already in those colors, but How do you not put low light in Night Force?
Exactly. Because they didn't go back. What was it, like 86?
Yeah. It would have been too early.
Yep.
If you want a nice looking Night Force Jinx, and you don't mind doing a little custom work, you get the movie edition Sonya Blade. She's black body, Jinx body.
Mortal Kombat.
She has flint boots on that figure.
What a deep cut here.
And then you just paint the Jinx head, put it on there. It's fantastic.
That's a good idea.
So if you want a Night Force Jinx, that's how you do it.
So one little addendum to how you could get Night Force. These were all sold in 2-packs, right?
Yeah.
There were 6 2-packs, right? Or you could do the mail away little pack.
Rapid Deployment Force,
which came with 2 Night Force figures. Not with their weapons. They came with different weapons.
Little thing you
it's
wear?
So it's
a black version of it.
Yeah, so the regular pocket control is green.
Yeah.
The Rapid Deployment Force, 93, I think. They did a slew of mail-aways in 93. And it came with 2 Night Force figures. Just plain. It was Repeater and Shockwave.
Yeah.
Right?
And then Fast Draw without this visor,
right.
you know.
And the guns weren't specific to the guys. You just had to decide. They came with 3 guns. Like low lights gun with no tripod. A couple other, generic guns.
Like
so
they
weren't repop with the same weapons.
No, but they are the Night Force figures.
All right.
Like, so there probably are more
of those 2
figures out there, if I had to guess, than any other Night Force figures.
Other than the weapons they came with,
correct.
There's no delineation.
Right.
Okay.
These command so much money now.
Yes.
Just like with anything else, it's gotten to the point of almost ridiculousness where the Joes have gone. But Night Force is just one of the really, really sought-after teams, accessories, and weapons.
Well, both of you said it yourselves. I never saw these in Toys R Us. Who
No.
bought them?
I don't know.
It's always that stuff that becomes the more sought-after as we get older. Because if you didn't buy them in the stores, where are they?
And because not everybody had them, but they look so good, it makes them super desirable.
Yeah.
They never went through that phase like the 90s figures where people were like, they were so goofy, I'm just going to skip them.
No, everybody likes these.
As soon as you know about these, you're like, I got to get them all. So people have been hunting them all along as soon as people found out about them.
Yeah.
So they've been collectible for the entire time they've existed.
Yeah, this is a very sought after set.
Did they come with the stands?
No.
That
was me panicking and sweating, making sure the pegs fit. So typically the later figures are good on the stands. When you start putting 84s and 83s on these stands,
the hole's not the same size.
You gotta feel it out.
Yeah.
Some of the stands from later figures are thicker peg holes, slightly. It only takes a millimeter, and they crack the heels. These figures are pretty mint. And but listen, they got to stand. They got to look good. This is Pegwarmers. We got to bring our A game.
They look great.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
They look really good.
There's other teams. They went team crazy.
I am surprised in classifieds we have not seen any Night Force repaints, and I keep wondering, will they use this as another exclusive if they run out of Tiger Force or Python Patrol, or another store finally grabs the line? Because right now, Tiger Force is like Target stuff.
Why did they go?
Or Walmart, one of them,
Tiger Force and Python Patrol first.
In classifieds?
Yeah.
I think
they did it with 25th too.
I think it's a way that they can sell you a character you want, and they know you'll buy the original paint scheme second. If they do the original paint scheme first, you go, I'll pass on the repaint.
But why
this way,
did they choose Tiger Force and not Night Force? If there was a choice at all.
I don't know if it's somebody at that company is just kind of like,
because,
I love Tiger Force.
For instance, right.
Brand recognition even.
We are getting a Tiger Force Outback.
Correct.
Which was not an American domestic release of Outback.
Right.
Right? So that's a deep cut.
Do you think that the buyers or the brand people at Hasbro, the buyers for Target or these are known as Toys R Us properties. We don't really want to sell Target exclusive repaints of Toys R Us. Like,
that might be part of
it. Is that part of it? Is it like a weird branding thing? Or
you know what I think it is? I think it's I don't think so.
They could just make them Pulse exclusives.
These would sell out insanely. Yes. Are you kidding me? I think it possibly has to do with the thinking of Kirk and the marketing team early 90s. Colors that pop on the shelves, get kids' attention. So, look at these.
Right. Well,
whoever
that's
the
true.
buyer is for Target.
Target's going, we want Tiger
Oh,
Fish.
look at that.
show
Look
up
how
nicely.
colorful that is. They're going to
Yeah.
really look at it. Then these are, to regular people, these are droll.
Yeah.
Maybe they're thinking of the mom who's shopping for the kid might not pick a black and green Outback, but if they see Outback with tiger stripes and stuff.
That makes sense.
Or, I mean, if you want Outback, do you want the original style Outback or do you want this style Outback?
I want this all day.
I think Kevin's right. If that one came out first, you might not want to buy a regular one later.
Well, I'm a completist collector, so I need everything.
Not everybody is.
So they have a classifieds Outback mold, and they have a classified somebody else. Falcon is coming.
Okay, yeah, I've seen them. Yep.
So those two they could do at some point if they want to. We'll see who else. Tunnel Rat maybe has been teased. I can't remember for classified. Most of these guys haven't been teased yet because a lot of them are goofy. Like I think Psych Out and Sneak Peek and Charbel, they're going to be deep cuts in classifieds if we ever get them.
It's kind of like with 25th with the modern era. They didn't come out. You could pick a handful of these guys which came out as wide release. The rest were like subscription figures for the club. We were happy to get them that way because I wanted to round out the entire collection. But they probably a wide release. They probably wouldn't have sold that well, which is why the club got a chance to do them.
Right.
But I think Shockwave is a home run if they do that in classified. Muskrat is probably a home run if they do that in classified. Falcon, obviously, you said he's coming.
I think Repeater's popular enough.
I think, and he's simple
and
enough.
So standard military that people like him.
Tunnel Rat and Outback, and then the rest. You're right.
I would.
No one wants to say.
I would go for Spearhead and Max though. I love the guys with pets. I just love the
I mean,
guys
Max
with pets.
looks. I mean, compared to
they would do him
the
with
articulated Max would be great though.
You think they're doing these original colors?
Yeah, bright orange would be awesome.
They have to.
They have to.
Because what I like about classified now,
Is
not
there-
to get on the classified kick, but
Scale
is they're
up.
just scaled up versions of really the 25th.
Yeah.
Because it's a better articulation.
Yeah.
I can't wait to do vehicles of this.
You guys got to let us know in the comments. Did you have these as a kid?
Who's your favorite?
Who's your favorite?
Yeah, to you, because I'd love to read this in the comments.
Yeah.
And we're always in the comments. We talked about what we thought was the upgrades and maybe the not. Let us know what you think the upgrades were. Because I'd like to see people's consensus on that.
Yeah.
I think Outback is my favorite.
Yeah?
Or Spearhead and Max.
Because he's got a beard.
It's a
Not
tough.
that you have a thing for beards or whatever.
It's tough. I just like that his shirt is more realistic. No one's wearing a bright white shirt that says survival on it
He is.
in the army. Like you're not.
Are you kidding me with G.I. Joe? I mean, Bazooka wears a...
Yeah, I
football
get it.
jersey.
I get
And then
it.
he has a Tiger
I
Force
know.
version of himself with the same
It's the
jersey,
same
just
jersey,
different colors.
different, yeah, I get it.
He had a jersey made, I guess,
Yeah.
to match his Tiger Force.
But I also like Spearhead and Max.
How many sports guys did they have?
Well, you had Bazooka,
Yep.
the Fridge, who actually played
Yeah.
football,
Gridiron.
and then Gridiron, Hardball, the baseball player.
Yep.
I think we got them all.
Just 4?
Big Lob, but they never made him
Right,
until
they
the
didn't
club.
make him to the club, but they teased the basketball player that way.
Sylvester Stallone,
Yeah, he
Almost
doesn't
made
count.
Rocky.
Big Boa.
Big Boa.
Yeah.
Night
seen
Force.
That. We've seen that.
We just
artwork.
talked about G.I. Joe again.
I hope you guys enjoyed it. We want to keep doing more of these kinds of things, breaking Joe into bite-sized pieces.
It's the only way to do it.
It's the only way to do it.
Yep. People do it by year. When they started going team crazy, it's really easy to do it by team.
Yeah.
I want to say something that you don't say because you don't like to ask.
Uh-oh.
Subscribe to this guy and subscribe to his Patreon.
Join the Patreon.
Yes.
Yes. It's
Link in the comments.
If this is entertaining,
yes.
and you enjoy this, Kevin is not trying to get rich or make money on it, but it costs money to keep the show going. It takes time, and you have to pay people for their time to do the editing. Right? And that's what this is all about, is to keep it going.
Yep.
We just enjoy talking about toys. I know you do.
Absolutely.
We enjoy being
I
guests.
can't shut up.
So
We try and put some fun content out there whenever I can. You know, footage from going to toy shows or hunting or
Reviews.
sometimes little reviews. Yeah,
Yeah.
when I get something in that I really want to talk about.
you do this for passion. You don't
I
do
do.
this because you think there's like some sort of long ball.
The greatest thing that happens to me is experiences. I get to meet somebody, interview. I did a whole episode of Pegwarmers where I interviewed a toy sculptor.
That was a great
It's
episode.
one of my
Yeah.
favorite things about this. Like,
Yes.
you know, in the early days of doing YouTube, I got to go to New York Toy Fair. Like, the experiences I get out of doing it, that's what I'm doing it for.
Hopefully they do it this February. We'll all go together.
That'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be
So
fun.
fun.
That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And then we need to have somebody edit that if we video it. Because we can't do anything without shooting it.
Yeah.
Right? That's just the way it
It's
is.
true.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me at the store.
Yeah.
Thank you so
This is
much.
awesome.
Hopefully we don't have any Pegwarmers here. There are a few.
Hold on, let me look around.
It's not Five Below. They don't have any racks of Ray hanging out here. You know?
Man.
Kevin, thank you so much for coming down.
Yeah, this was great.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
All right, guys. Thanks for hanging on the peg with us.